Hey everyone, welcome back to another walk and talk. So today, I'm here pouring my heart out like a liquid offering, like Paul said, right? Here sharing my life with you lot, because I feel as though sometimes we don't talk about stuff and it remains hidden. And in that, the enemy's taking us for a ride, each and every one of us for a ride, because he's having us believe that we're the only one going through something, right? And actually, he's putting the same lie on each and every one of us. So I'm just here to expose more lies of the enemy, basically. And how he's been trying to trick me my whole entire life. But I said in a recent video that even though that Satan's playing the long game, right? The long game of destruction, Jesus is into the eternal game. And there's no getting around the eternal game. There's no way to get over it. There's no way to get under it. You can't get around it. You can't go through it. Jesus is eternal. So I'm about to share with you where I already shared on a video where this whole thing started. How Satan sowed a seed into me, a lie that suggested to me that I was ugly, that I wasn't deserving of love. You know, it's funny because when I was growing up and I would look at myself and compare myself to other people, other ladies. And at the time there was loads of music videos and all kinds of things that I was into, and I didn't fit into the picture of any of those music videos, you know. Puberty never really hit home here. My hips never grew out. I'm not your typical black woman. I don't have a large bum. I don't have like curvy hips. I'm not tall. I'm not curvaceous. I'm dark. I've got natural hair. And all of those things, the enemy lied and told me were working against me, right? Meaning that because I didn't fit into the mold that, you know, what beauty, like beauty standards, therefore I wasn't deserving of being seen. I wasn't deserving of love. And I was going to spend the rest of my life rejected, which led me to a journey of trying to make myself fit, you know, trying to make myself be wanted. And it was destructive. It was totally destructive. And this is how the enemy works. He leads us into a place of self-preservation where we feel like we need to do something in order to be something. But Jesus has already said to us that we are who we are because of him, not because of all these external things or even our physical attributes, right? So anyhow, I'm just sharing that because I went through many years of rejection, right? Many years of rejection, believing the lie. And the thing about this, when you believe the lie, you're going to live from the lie. Why? Because you've believed it. You've believed it. So when you believe the lie and the lie takes root in your heart, every decision, every way, like each way that you look at life, every decision, everything, you're going to live from the place of that lie, right? Because why? That lie in that moment is truth to you. It's your reality. And so because I believed the lie that he was telling me about myself, it was causing me to hide. It was causing me to shrink back. I had very little confidence. I didn't want to be seen, even though I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be affirmed. But I didn't want to be seen at the same time because it causes you to go into hiding. And I've said this before, you know, when Adam and Eve were in the garden and they were just hanging out with God, having a good time, enjoying life. And then what did the enemy do? He came in with a lie. Then they started to live from that place of a lie. When they bought into what Satan was telling them, right? And God never told them anything about that, about themselves that they heard through the enemy's mouth. God was always affirming them. God was telling them who they were. He said, you're made in my image and my likeness, right? But then here came Satan, and he came with another story as to who they were. And in that, when they believed what Satan said about them, it caused them to go into hiding. It caused them to shrink back from life. So, you know, in my previous videos, I said, my story is not your story, but the enemy is always the same. He doesn't have any new tactics, right? He's always trying the same ways over and over and over again, looking for somebody to buy it, looking for somebody to devour. So even though your story may not have led you on the same path that mine led me on, which was me trying to find love in all the wrong places and all the wrong methods and all the wrong ways, the truth is this: if you have been hiding in life, from life, on any description, Like, you know, you may be saying, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be the one out in front. I whatever it is, it's like I don't feel comfortable in public spaces. Whatever, I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to do these videos. I just don't want to be seen. I want to live my life hidden away in secret. The question remains, why don't you want to be seen? See, there's not, okay, let me put it this way. It's like, if that was your choice, and it truly was your choice not to be seen, then that's one thing altogether. But when you get down to the root of it and you begin to ask yourself these questions, why don't I want to be seen? What is it about me that I'm trying to hide? And where has this suggestion come from that I need to hide? Because Jesus said we are a city on a hill that cannot be hidden, right? That's what he said. And so if he's saying that you are light and he doesn't hide you under a bushel, he doesn't put you under a bed, that you are a city on a hill that cannot be hidden, then why try to hide yourself? And this is what I'm saying. I tried to hide myself for so many years. For so many years, I thought I could hide myself because, you know, I felt as though I didn't have anything worthy to be seen, and I was lied to. And it was only the truth of God and the words of Jesus that brought me out of that and brought me into an awareness of who I am, right? And took me off that path of destruction that was looking for me to fix something. I was always trying to fix myself, but I couldn't. And so I just wanted to talk about this because this is like the first chapter in my book, right? I've written a book called Worth More Than Rubies, and it's more like a journal workbook kind of thing. So for you to work through your own journey. So I share a bit of my story just to encourage you in your story, but it's actually for you and the Holy Spirit to work through together. It's called Worth More Than Rubies, and it's currently available for purchase, and you'll find the link in the description. But in the first chapter, which is entitled Rejection to Redemption, right? I mentioned this verse. So it's here in John 4, and it's the story of Jesus with the woman at the well. And the reason why I'm going to share this story is because this lady was in hiding, right? She was hiding. Her choices and her decisions had led her down a path of shame, and she was now trying to withdraw herself from people around her and other people around her, because she knew that, you know, she wasn't in alignment, as it were. And there was a lot of her decisions that were causing her to feel shame for whatever reason. Now, we don't know what led this lady to be in this situation. We don't know the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the frustration, the self-preservation, the fixing of herself that led her here, right? But I'm sure when she started in her young life, she wasn't intending on ending up in this situation, but she ended up in this situation. And it says, and he had to go through Samaria on the way. Eventually he came to the Samaritan village of Sychar, near the field that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired from the long walk, sat wearily beside the well about noontime. And it's the noontime, right? Soon a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Please give me a drink." He was alone at the time because his disciples had gone into the village to buy some food. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, but this is the Middle East, right? And I can only assume, I've lived in the Caribbean, and at noonday, there were some days when you didn't even want to leave the house because it was so hot outside. I mean, even here in Great Britain in summer, sometimes at noonday at 12 o'clock, when the sun is at its highest, you don't even want to leave because it's hot outside. And the thought of going outside, it's like, why would I want to do that to myself? It's hot out there. And here we have this lady at noonday. So all the other ladies have come to draw water early. She's coming up there noonday. Why? Because she knows no one's going to be up there. She knows nobody's going to be up there. She won't have to answer any questions. She won't have to look anybody in the face. She won't have to engage in any form of conversation. Why? She's embarrassed. She's ashamed. She knows that, you know, her life's a mess and she doesn't know how to fix it. So here she is. She knows she's got to come and draw water, but it's like, I don't want to see anybody. And I'm hoping I don't see anybody. But Jesus, knowing her, he knew her before. He knew her before he got there, right? He knows everybody, down to the hairs on our heads. He knew her, and he knew on purpose that he needed to meet with this lady. He needed to meet with this lady because he needed to give her something that she couldn't give herself. He needed to show her that he was her source and not her trying to fix everything, because her trying to fix everything in her life had resulted in her having 5 husbands. So let me just continue reading. So they got to the point where they're alone at the well, right? The woman was surprised, for Jews refused to have anything to do with Samaritans. She said to Jesus, "You are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. Why are you asking me for a drink?" Jesus replied, If you only knew the gift of God has for you and who you are speaking to, you would ask me and I would give you living water. But sir, you don't have a rope or a bucket, she said, and this well is very deep. Where would you get this living water? And besides, do you think you're greater than our ancestors Jacob, who gave us this well? So even as I'm just reading this, right, she's like saying, one, why are you talking to me? Because your kind don't talk to me. I've had enough experience with your kind. Your kind ignore me. They say all kinds of stuff about me. Like, even my own people say stuff about me. Why are you talking to me? And Jesus said to her, if you only knew the gift God has for you. And I believe he's saying the same thing to us now. If we only knew the gift he has for us and who is speaking to you. See, if you understood who's speaking to you, you wouldn't have to hold on to all those things that you believe is wrong with you, right? But here's the bit that just kind of stood out to me. He says, but sir, you don't have a rope or a bucket. And she said, and this well is very deep. He's like, I don't need anything physical. This isn't a physical issue. And even when I'm saying that, right, it's like many of us have spiritual issues. What I mean by that is that our issue isn't physical, it's a spiritual misalignment, right? But because we're judging things based on the surface and based on our feelings or where we're at, we're believing that it can be fixed with a physical solution. But the physical solution never results in the answer. And she says, where would you get this living water? Why? Because this well is very deep. You know what's deeper? Your heart. Your heart is as deep as it can get. And Jesus is just like, he goes on to say to her, anyone who drinks this water will soon become thirsty again, meaning the physical water. You trying to fix yourself. You trying to resolve this thing. Me, I was trying to resolve the pain of rejection and the pain of not being enough by trying to fill it with people and relationships, right? And thinking that somehow that will get to the depth of my heart. It never did. It created another issue. And Jesus is saying this. He says, anyone who drinks this water will soon be thirsty again. Anybody who tries to fix themselves, anybody who tries to take a physical solution to fix a spiritual issue, you're gonna end up thirsty, probably even more thirsty than you were before. He says, but those who drink the water I give will never be thirsty again. You will never be thirsty again. Why? Because it becomes a fresh, bubbling spring within them, giving them eternal life. And this says to me, like, Jesus is our answer, right? And so I, for years, for decades, was trying to fix. For decades, was trying to fix my issues, and it never worked. But the moment Jesus entered the picture, the moment I allowed him to enter the picture and give me his water, I have never been thirsty again. And so I just share that, right? Because God is so awesome. He's so awesome. And he doesn't want us walking around wounded. He doesn't want us walking around feeling less than, shrinking back from life, hiding. He wants us. He says we are that city on a hill that cannot be hidden. God has caused you. He has created you to shine. And the enemy is working overtime to dim your light. He can't extinguish it. But if he can dim it, he's going to do everything in his power to dim the light. I just encourage you, don't allow him to get away with it anymore. Don't allow him to get away with it anymore. So as I said, my story may not be your story, but my Worth More Than Rubies book, I wrote it with the intention to help other ladies like myself who have bought into the lie and they no longer want to live from the place of a lie. So if you're interested in purchasing the book Worth More Than Rubies, it's in the description. Go ahead and purchase that. I would love for you to read that and work through that with the Holy Spirit. And also I offer discovery calls, 15-minute discovery calls, just to help you to begin having the conversation. You may be feeling stuck. You may be feeling uncertain. You may be feeling as though your light is so dimmed. How do you cause it to go bright again? Whatever it is, if you're feeling any inclination in you whatsoever, just press the button, book a call. You have no idea how just having one conversation can begin to change the trajectory of your life. This lady, when she came to the well, she had no idea how one conversation was about to transform her entire existence. And not only hers, but her whole entire nation. So who's to say what's on the back of one decision of just making a discovery call or buying the book? Anyway, love you all, and speak to you in the next video. Bye. Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome to a video. I might just walk and talk.
Say good morning.
Yeah.
Say hey everybody.
Okay.
Wait. On your face. Oh no.
See, that's why I needed you to come closer.
You can't not have that on your face. Like what
And
you
my
was
hair
eating?
looks-
Donuts?
My hair looks crazy too.
Huh? You was look crazy. You out here in the wind.
Hey everyone.